Let us take some time to learn some commonly used words and phrases in American news media and politics. Constituent. A constituent is defined as someone who has the ability to appoint another person to be a representative. An example of constituent is a registered voter. Partisan. A strong supporter of a party, cause, or person. Pernicious. Having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way. Gerrymandering. Manipulate the boundaries of an electoral constituency so as to favor one party or class. Exacerbate. Make a problem, bad situation, or negative feeling worse. Examples: too often in the United States, our lawmakers prize their own re-election more than actually doing the work that matters for their constituents or their policy preferences. This problem is exacerbated by politicians who use partisan gerrymandering to handpick their voters instead of allowing the people to choose their own representatives. In its most pernicious form, partisan gerrymandering can allow a particular party to earn a minority of the statewide vote but still hold a majority of seats in the state legislatures. Categorically, in a way that is unambiguously explicit and direct. Disavow. Deny any responsibility or support for. Anecdote. A short, amusing, or interesting story about a real incident or person. Banana Republic. A politically unstable country with an economy dependent upon the exportation of a limited resource product such as bananas or minerals. Examples: I categorically disavow the use of misinformation to sway an election. I've fact-checked every word Trump has uttered since his inauguration. I can tell you that if this president relays an anecdote in which he has someone referring to him as sir, then some major component of the anecdote is very likely to be wrong. What separates America from a banana republic is the peaceful transition of power, something Democrats have steadfastly refused to honor, as they've never accepted the results of the 2016 presidential election. Kumbaya moment. Moment of having naive and unrealistic attitudes of peace, harmony, and cooperation. Amid. Surrounded by, in the middle of. Disparity. A great difference. Palpable. So intense as to seem almost tangible. Able to be touched or felt. Examples: protesters and Trump supporters share Kumbaya moment. Amid the fanfare and protests around Washington, a passing photographer caught a touching moment of unity shared between Trump supporters and protesters. They were just hanging out together despite what one would imagine would be palpable tension. They were being exceedingly cordial to one another, even joking about the disparity of their signs. It was a nice little Kumbaya moment amid the large divisions in the electorate right now. Charge. Accuse someone of something, especially an offense under law. Indict. Formally accuse of or charge with a serious crime. A verdict. A decision on a disputed issue in a civil or criminal case or an inquest. Convict. Declare someone to be guilty of a criminal offense by the verdict of a jury or the decision of a judge in a court of law. Allegation. A claim or assertion that someone has done something illegal or wrong, typically one made without proof. Examples: Manafort was sentenced in March to a total of roughly 7 years in prison in connection with two cases. A federal jury in Virginia convicted him on 8 counts of bank and tax fraud, while he pleaded guilty in a Washington court to charges related to foreign lobbying and witness tampering. Prosecutors had argued that the case was based on allegations that were never resolved in Manafort's 2018 federal trial in Virginia that found him guilty of 8 counts of tax and bank fraud charges. The jury couldn't reach a verdict on 10 other charges, resulting in a mistrial on those counts. This indictment should never have been brought, and today's decision is a stark reminder that the law and justice should always prevail over politically motivated actions. Acquit. Free someone from a criminal charge by a verdict of not guilty. Summon. Authoritatively or urgently call on someone to be present, especially as a defendant or witness in a law court. All but. Very nearly. Examples: the Senate narrowly rejected Democratic demands to summon witness for President Donald Trump's impeachment trial late Friday, all but ensuring Trump's acquittal in just the third trial to threaten a president's removal in U.S. history. Quid pro quo. A favor or advantage granted or expected in return for something. Red herring. Something, especially a clue that is or is intended to be misleading or distracting. Herring is actually a silvery fish that is most abundant in coastal waters and is of great commercial importance as food fish in many parts of the world. Red herring means a dried, smoked herring which is turned red by the smoke. One possible origin of the idiom was that red herring were used to train dogs to track scents. Examples: calling Trump's alleged quid pro quo with Ukraine a red herring, Senator John Nelly Kennedy said it's important for lawmakers to understand why Trump asked Zelensky for an investigation of the Bidens. Succumb. Fail to resist pressure, temptation, or some other negative force. Nonchalant. Of a person or manner. Feeling or appearing casually calm and relaxed, not displaying anxiety, interest, or enthusiasm. Altruism. The belief in or practice of disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. Condemn. Express complete disapproval of, typically in public. Examples: more men than women are dying from coronavirus in Italy, expert says. In Italy, again, most of the individuals who succumbed to this disease had 3 other prior existing medical conditions. This was pretty nonchalant request, and the indication was that it was no big deal to the suspect. Science has shown that altruistic behaviors, defined as putting the well-being of others before our own without expecting anything in return, actually do improve our health. World leaders have condemned the terrorist attacks in Mumbai, India, in which more than 100 people died. Deplorable, deserving strong condemnation. Circle the wagons. Unite in defense of a common interest. Bigot, a person who is intolerant towards those holding different opinions. Audacity, the willingness to take bold risks. Examples: that's the Republican hope. The sense of, for instance, Hillary Clinton referring to some Donald Trump supporters as deplorable. Sort of the idea that, well, now they're calling us racist. They once called us deplorable, now they're calling us racist. And to some extent, kind of a circle the wagons approach. Hillary Clinton is a bigot who sees people of color as only votes, not as human beings worthy of a better future, Trump said, reading from prepared remarks. The left-wing media has been ridiculing me for having the audacity to float the idea that children could benefit from being given chores at school. Genocide. The deliberate killing of a large group of people, especially those of a particular ethnic group or nation. Reparation. The making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. Earmark. Designate something, typically funds or resources, for a particular purpose. Pork barrel. The use of government funds for projects designated to please voters or legislators and win votes. Examples. The issue of whether to call the killings a genocide is emotional, both for Armenians who are descendants from those killed and for Turks. Some Turkish leaders fear the acknowledgement of a genocide could lead to demands for huge reparations. In the public eye, wasteful spending is synonymous with the kind of earmarks that lawmakers have in the past tucked into the budget to pay for pet projects that benefit their own districts. The ultimate symbol of pork barrel spending came to light in 2005 during the Bush administration when former Republican Senator Ted Stevens tucked $223 million into a budget for a bridge in Alaska to connect the town of Ketchikan to Gravina Island, population 50. Rhetoric. The art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing. Xenophobia. Dislike of or prejudice against people from other countries. Pander. Gratify or indulge an immoral or distasteful desire, need, or habit, or a person with such a desire. Conviction. A firmly held belief or opinion. Examples. So he kind of gets his cake and eat it too because he gets to, engage in racist rhetoric. He gets to pander to racist xenophobic sentiment and at the same time bash the media claiming it's fake news that he is racist. And so it's like a 2-for-1 deal from Donald Trump's perspective. My father carries real conviction with him. He carries a real belief with him.